This is the Veteran Woman Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to empowering, inspiring, and encouraging veteran women to overcome their struggles and celebrate their successes. Now, here's your host, the one and only Airial and.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's incredible radio. This is the Peace Within radio show, ladies and gentlemen, where people can express their thoughts on their personal passions, love, and strong desires to find their peace within. Look, first of all, welcome on another beautiful Wednesday. You know, it's a lovely day, was a lovely day, a little breezy, but you know, you could withstand it. And, I enjoyed it. You know, I got out with my bum knee and, did a little something, man. What really brought back my background, as a young athlete was, when I went to, sign the papers for one of my godsons for a scholarship to Fort Valley State, and he is excited and ready. He's going to be a linebacker, and I'm excited for him. Now I'm, a little upset he didn't go to Savannah State University, but hey, it's okay. He did choose a HBCU, and it's all good. It's all good. But congratulations to Travion Walker, man. You did the doggone thing. High school was Clayton High out there, and he did the doggone thing, and I'm so proud of him. And, and he did it. And he's going to go to college and play some ball, get the lesson. He's a smart guy. And it's an awesome thing to do. But before we go any further, let's do this. I'm going to give you something. James, 1st chapter, 7 through 9 verse. James, 1st chapter, 7 through 9 verse. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice that he is exalted. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. I had to read that over again because I was stumbling over the words. But you forgive me, I understand. But that was James 1st chapter 7 through 9 verses. So we're here tonight doing our doggone thing as we normally do on Wednesdays. And I'm excited, I'm pumped to really talk about our subject tonight. And the beautiful thing about what our topic tonight is, you can make it through. And let me just go ahead and tell you what the topic is. Understanding post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Now, many of you may not have heard of that, or have heard of it and not really sure what it's all about. Well, tonight you're going to get a tutorial. Won't be a long tutorial, but you will get a tutorial that will explain to you and give you some ideas on what PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is all about. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV once. These just jokes. But I'm going to have somebody on here who's certified to talk about this. And, I'm really excited to have her on because it's so many individuals out there that have PTSD and really don't want to go and get it checked. They don't know they have PTSD, first of all, and we'll get into that. So they've been through something tragic. I don't want to spill the beans, but they've been through something tragic and they can't cope with it. So that's what we're going to get into. We're going to talk about here tonight to ensure that everybody understands what it's all about. And I don't know. I'm just ready for us to get on and get this thing started and help some people, and I hope this show helps you tonight, because it's critical that you understand. If you don't understand something that we're saying, don't hesitate to give us a call, 404-361-1571. We're right here. We'll be here until 7 o'clock. So give us a call. But without further ado, I really would like to introduce you to someone that understands PTSD, has walked the gauntlet of PTSD, and is here to open up to us all about what PTSD is all about. And this person, I tell you, Airial Dandridge, she's a certified life and veteran development coach and founder, ladies and gentlemen, of the Veteran Women's LLC, a company dedicated to supporting and empowering female veterans as they transition from the military to civilian life. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Airial Dandridge. Ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So blessed, so happy to have you on the show tonight. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. This is a tough task for many, but I know for you, it's something that you do, and you encounter many women with this disorder. First of all, just tell us where you're from and tell us a little something about yourself before we jump into understanding post-traumatic stress disorder.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on the show. My name is Airial, and I currently live in Kansas. I was stationed here about 6 years ago, but I still claim Texas because I'm originally from Texas.
How about them Cowboys?
Of course. And I was in the military for 12 years, and now I am working as a certified life and veteran development coach. And I focus on working with women veterans who have gone through or who are going through some of the things that I have gone through, to let them know that they're not alone and that they can push past any of those diagnoses of PTSD, anxiety, or depression, and find the light on the other side. It can be done.
Yeah. So what gave you the passion, though? Many people that I've seen and heard about, they have a passion to doing things. What's your passion?
I know how it feels to not have anybody there to support you or recognize the signs. Like, for instance, there was a point I was suicidal.
Wow.
And I technically was AWOL, but I was right here in my house.
Right.
Everybody knows the address, everything.
Right.
And nobody checked on me.
Wow.
And even though I screamed out, and I completely changed, I was a completely different soldier when I had my breakdown. And I reached out and said, hey, I need help. Something's not right, because I didn't know what was going on. And nobody knocked on my door. Nobody checked on me. And I don't want anybody to ever have that feeling.
Right. Wow.
And so that's why, and I have my days. It's hard. Like, before this show, I was hyperventilating, heart racing, and everything. But I said, I got to do this.
Right.
So I still have my hard days, but it's a way to find your path and cope with it and work through it.
Right. So would you submit that you're stronger now?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I can understand a lot because of what I've gone through, I can understand people a lot more when they say that they're having a panic attack, when they say that they're depressed, when they say that they don't want to be on earth anymore. I understand it. I get it. Right. I get it because I've been at that point.
Right. Well, tell the audience about your program.
About my program. Wow, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, you're on the spot now.
So I have quite a few going on. I do want to talk about I Thrive. I've just been announced as program director for I Thrive.
Awesome.
Nikki
Congratulations.
Baldwin. She's the founder of that. And she also works with women with PTSD. And people can find my Facebook page and they can follow me and see everything that I've got going on and any new programs coming up.
Right.
The Veteran Woman podcast is going to be released in March. And that is going to be a platform where veterans can come and talk about their ups and downs and everything. It's just going to be a platform to share your voice. And also I have one-on-one coaching for anybody who is working to transition out of the military or who still feels like they haven't assimilated into the civilian life.
Right.
We can do one-on-one coaching, whether it's career or school or getting into your own business. I love helping veterans move into entrepreneurship.
Gotcha. Well, man, I tell you, it's great to have you on the show, the Peace Within radio show right here on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's incredible radio. And I'm so eager to get started and excited really to really, I've suffered with PTSD, and to really hear someone like yourself and someone that's having a program, that has a program that's, helping women and others to get a handle on it. And I applaud you for that, and I really appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. We got a caller on the line, eager to talk to us right now. Hi, caller. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Yes, my name is Stacy. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL. What's going on, Stacy? Thank you so much for calling in to the Peace Within radio show. Talk to me. Tonight is about understanding PTSD. What's your question? What do you know about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder?
Well, I don't have a question.
Okay. You just want to collaborate. Okay. Well, talk to me.
I was actually told to call in. I thought this was actually Blog Talk. I didn't know it was live radio.
We are live, ma'am. We are live. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to kill Airial.
Yeah. We are live. We are live. So, yeah, you are live right here. WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's incredible radio. So talk to me. What do you want to say about what's really going on with PTSD? And do you understand what it is?
Oh, yeah, I understand. I do have PTSD myself. I am a retired veteran.
Okay.
But I don't think
I said
it's serious.
You must not be Army. I just said whoa to you.
Oh, I'm
She's Army.
Okay.
Cool. I'm Army, yeah.
So you should have automatic click. It should have automatic click to you to say whoa and drop down and do some push-ups. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Don't even. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, I do have a little touch of PTSD.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just being funny.
No. What I was going to say is just I don't think that it's taken as serious as it really is. I just don't think people really take it serious. Okay, so you got PTSD. Okay.
Right.
And then until something happens, and then that's when everyone wants to take it serious.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. And you say you have PTSD. What happened? Not your incident. We don't have to talk about it. But what happened when you found out, when you were diagnosed with PTSD?
When I was actually diagnosed, I didn't I really didn't accept that. I'm like, what? Is that crazy people?
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I thought. Like, okay, they're trying to classify me as crazy. Okay. Yeah. So it just took a lot of research for me to understand what was really going on with me. I thought it was just depression.
Yeah.
But they diagnosed it as severe PTSD, and didn't understand or realize that those two are in the same family, basically.
Right, absolutely. So, Airial, with a young lady like this, and I forget your name, ma'am. Say it again loud.
Stacy.
My name is Stacy.
Stacy. So
I said Stacy.
Again, I heard you. You said Stacy. Hey. I got PTSD too, so don't try it over here now. But Airial, with someone like Stacy, what would you tell them? They've already been diagnosed, and they're going through the process of trying to understand what PTSD is all about. What would you tell them though at this point?
Well, I would say, I want to give a disclaimer. I am not a therapist. So people do come to me to help them find like a therapist, a licensed therapist that covers PTSD, or they'll come to me like as a supplement to therapy, or after they've gone through therapy. So I do want to say that.
Hey, turn your radio down because you got some feedback going on. Somebody over there. Somebody.
Okay, I may need to call. Do I still have it?
Okay, Stacy, that's you.
How can that be me?
That may
can't be me.
Go ahead. I'm listening, Airial.
I'm not on the radio. I'm sorry.
You're live.
Okay. Is that better?
Okay, gotcha.
So, with Stacy, me and her are actually collaborating, because one of the ways that I cope with my PTSD and everything is through my business and through my mission and vision and passion, and sharing my story, because I've gotten to the point where I understand that if I tell people about it, it takes the shame out of it.
Okay.
And it helps me to heal better. So Stacy is actually doing a book project called Her Story. And I'll let her talk about that a little bit more.
Stacy, I'm excited. What? Talk to me. Don't be shy now.
I'm actually a domestic violence survivor.
Okay.
And I collaborated. I got 10 other women together. Actually, let me go back a little bit further than that. I'm not a counselor. I am a life coach, and I do one of the programs that I offer it's called Right to Heal, and I do believe that, and that's how I heal myself, and that's where it was born. Okay. But I get the ladies to write to heal, and then one day it just dawned on me, like, well, do a book.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I got 10 other survivors together, and we've completed a book. Actually, it launches this Saturday.
Wow.
And a lot of them have said how that has helped in their healing process. Writing about their story, writing about the thing that caused them so much pain.
Absolutely.
Which is one of the things that can cause PTSD.
Yep. So tell them, or tell everyone where they can get the book once it's out.
Oh, yes. They can go to Amazon.com. It is entitled Her Story 2, and it is by me, Stacy Bryant.
Congratulations. That's absolutely awesome. And what I think, and when I look at this, because I did the same thing, writing helped me. And my book's been out almost 2 years now, and I'm on the second book. It'll be out in August of this year. So I understand totally what you mean when you say writing is the calluses of survival when you're talking about PTSD. I love writing. I love reading. So, I encourage everyone to go on Amazon and check Stacy's book out, and adhere to what you're reading. Understand, get to a solid place and And make sure you're reading the words carefully, because it's all about the words and understanding, what's in between the words. But I tell you, ladies, man, you guys are awesome. And, I really appreciate you guys coming on the show and doing the doggone thing. But Airial, man, I mean, I hear Stacy doing so much, and you guys are doing so much with helping the women. So you got to understand that, audience, men are also suffering from PTSD. And let me tell you why, and as well as women as well. Men, we don't want to seem weak at any point. So now I'm gonna just talk about the Army. Now the Army is really changing the way that we deal with PTSD. Because if you're in the military and you're still, fighting, you're still on the front line, you're still trying to get promoted, you do not want to get on your record that you have PTSD. And that was the fear, that was the scare. When
it still is.
Yeah, and as being a leader in the military, you really don't want people to know or understand that you have a issue. Because I'm not going to call it a problem, because it's an issue that can be worked on, and you can survive with PTSD. So I encourage each and every one of you who are under the sound of our voices here today to adhere to what's going on and get help. And I will definitely, Airial and also Stacy will definitely be able to assist in your growth, with the particular issue that can be solved. So Airial, I mean, expound, about, we say diagnosed. I say the term diagnosed. I was diagnosed with PTSD. So when I say that to others, they look at it as a illness, as a sickness, as a disease. What do you look at it as?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned, what about men? I do have males come to me and talk to me. My main focus is towards women, but I'm not going to turn anybody away.
Yeah.
And it's not just about combat PTSD or military-related PTSD either.
Right.
But for me, I was originally diagnosed with major depressive disorder, and then depression and anxiety. Mm-hmm. And then the VA diagnosed me with PTSD with anxiety, depression. Mm-hmm. And it was just, and I never thought PTSD. I just knew it was something not right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But they gave me a checklist, and I remember when filling out that checklist, I started crying because I'm like, oh, my goodness, this is me.
Right.
So stuff like, avoiding social anxiety, avoiding anything that you think may trigger something.
Right.
And that could be images, places, sounds, smells, anything. Mm-hmm. Irritable. I can get very irritable at times. Uncontrollable crying. I just start crying, and that's part of my panic attacks too. Mm-hmm. But once I had that diagnosis, I went back and looked at the symptoms and studied it, and it helped me understand why I was having the reactions that I was having.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. So, and I asked, and I asked this question again. How did you feel? Did you feel less than a woman when they diagnosed you with PTSD? Did you feel less than a person?
No, because by that time I had already had diagnosis for like a year or two.
Okay. You just didn't really know what to call it.
Yeah,
I got you.
So my biggest thing was, okay, so if I have this and it was caused by the military, fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Stacy, I mean, when it comes to PTSD, your diagnosis, when it comes to the behavioral portion of post-traumatic stress disorder, did you feel agitated sometimes, or irritable, or hostile? What was it? Did you sweat? Did you dream? What was it that gave you that diagnosis?
Well, I do have nightmares.
Yep.
I do have nightmares. That was the bulk of my diagnosis, because with the nightmares, it prevented me from sleeping, even subconsciously, So that's kind of what I dealt with when it came to that, which leads into more depression, because you're irritable because you can't sleep.
Right.
But, I've been pretty successful in being able to, to maintain and to be able to function through my illness. Yeah.
And mine was just, I was agitated all the time. I always wanted to just slap a mug for just doing stupid stuff, just someone would just irritate me with the least amount of issues. Because in the military, everything's, so dress. You come out in the civilian world and it's not dress. And in your head, you're just saying, this is simple. And it frustrates you. Well, it's frustrated me because the stuff was so simple to me that was not simple to others. And it frustrated me. So, even though, after retirement, and you don't realize, and I'm just talking to everybody right now. If you don't know what you have, please get to your doctor as soon as possible, so they can analyze and help you with whatever you have going on. But if you don't know what's going on with you, you're irritable, you can't sleep at night, you have insomnia, you're going through nightmares, like Stacy and all of us are saying, and you're sweating. I don't know if you guys had that issue. I know the sweating was an issue for me. It's like I just dived in a pool and the entire bed is wet from sweat because of the nightmares. And I would always have the same nightmare. I know, it's weird. I would always have the same nightmare. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're going through that, that's something that you need to look into and have a doctor analyze that situation. But and I'm talking to you, Stacy, and you, Airial, so either one of you chime in on this. But when you go out into the civilian world, and Stacy, I know you may not have, been through the military part of PTSD, and you're dealing with the other part, domestic.
Can you clarify what you mean?
Domestic violence.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that the domestic violence has nothing to do with my PTSD. With me being diagnosed, it's all military.
It's all military.
But
okay.
I can see where domestic violence would cause PTSD.
Roger that. So with everything that's going on in families and young youth today, and I say young youth, and I'm going to expound on that in a second, because now we're seeing adults in our civilian world. Okay, let's set aside the military for a second. Now we're seeing adults in our civilian world with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, a lot.
Can either one of you expound on that part?
Well, I just want to say it's we just talked about domestic violence, and that it's rampant. It's running rampant, and I think the adults actually are, as you said in the beginning, children. They're the children that were traumatized, and they have learned to cover that up, and they go on, and no one knows what's going on with them until it gets so bad, and then you have to go to the doctor, and then you find out, oh my gosh, I have PTSD. Isn't that for military people?
Right.
You know, where did that come from?
Right.
But there are so many traumatizing events that are not even dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it leads to PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Stacy's saying, it's trauma, and really a person cannot tell you what's going to be traumatic to you.
Right.
It could be a car wreck.
Mm-hmm.
It could be losing a loved one, seeing someone pass away. Just, it could be anything. Whatever is traumatic to you, that can cause PTSD.
Wow. Wow.
So just because you haven't been in the military, or you haven't had a completely violent situation like some people would say, something could have been traumatic for you, and you still have the symptoms of PTSD. You still have PTSD.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Stacy, you answered that question so elegantly, because I was going to get into the youth with PTSD. And we're putting our kids on so much medication nowadays because of, which could be post-traumatic stress disorder. You know? They're just trying to deal with what they've seen, what they've heard, what has happened to them. So now we're putting them on this heavy medication to now they're just zombies.
That's right. I agree with you 100%.
And I see it every day. So, you know, it's critical, ladies and gentlemen, that we get a handle on what's going on with our youth, first of all, and what's going on with our parents. You know, PTSD may be part of the issue that we need to hang our hats on. We got another caller. Hey, caller, come on and tell us your name and where you're from. You are live right here on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. This is The Peace Within. I'm your host, Henry Washington. Talk to me.
Hey, it's Airial. I'm calling on my other line. Hopefully it's no feedback on this one.
Airial, why don't you just tell us that, Airial? You're wasting airtime by switching over the phone, calling another line, and you just
trying to tell them that.
You just didn't tell me. You need to tell me, because now I gave you a whole speech that, you know, I could have reserved for a real caller, and you go call on two lines.
I hung up the other line.
Jiminy Chris.
Wow.
Well, can you hang up the other line? You're still on the other line.
I did. No, I hung up the other line.
You are killing us.
I hung up the other line.
Jiminy Christmas.
Tomorrow.
This is a fun show tonight.
Tomorrow.
Oh, but I tell you, well, thank you for, you know, getting on a better line. You know, you probably need to check your phone. You're probably with an old bootleg service that you can't get. You probably can't even step out of the house and get a good signal. But anyway, we go move right on.
That was my landline. My landline is supposedly trustworthy, but I don't know what's going on with it. So I'm on my cell phone now.
Well, your landline is now a fly line, so you need to do something about it. Okay, so check this. So let's get back to topic. So now we are in the crux of the term, of the phrase PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And we have some bloggers coming in. Okay, give us a call, 404-361-1571. If you want to express what's going on with you, you want to talk to these young ladies that has been through it and understand it, don't hesitate to give us a call. But I will answer the question, and I will ask them the question that you just Pamela, that you just came up with. Pamela asked, and Pamela is also from Atlanta. Pamela asked, how do you talk about PTSD and understand PTSD, not knowing that you have PTSD? Okay, I hope y'all understand that question, because I ain't. Oof.
Can you repeat that question, please?
Okay. How do you understand PTSD and go through PTSD and not being able to understand it, or something she's asking? Hold on a second.
How do you have PTSD and not understand that?
And not know that
PTSD is just easy. How can you not? If if you're going through, you're having nightmares, for instance, for myself, I didn't know why I was having nightmares. I have the same nightmare. I'm like you. I have the same one. You know, some people have, it's different for some people.
Right.
But I was having nightmares, and I didn't understand because the nightmare had nothing to do with my traumatic experience.
Okay.
So therefore, how did I know that was PTSD? You know, all I know is like, man, why am I having these nightmares? And now I'm scared to go to sleep. I can't sleep. I have insomnia, you know, and now I'm depressed because I'm tired. I'm sleepy, you know, and each stage leads to something else, to something else, to something else. So how do you understand? You go to the doctor and find out.
Yeah. And
you do some research and find out. You evaluate the things that are going on in your life. Ask yourself, have I been traumatized by something? Did something happen that didn't set right with myself? Do I need to really get that checked out? I'm having these symptoms. They say it may be PTSD. I don't know. Ooh. So as far as understanding, that's the first step. You can't understand until you actually know what's going on.
Okay. Here.
Then you seek to understand.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I know for me, I was at that point where, and I had studied psychology because I was going to be a therapist. So, you know, I thought I was tracking on everything, went to suicidal awareness classes, all kinds of stuff, studied up on depression, everything. And I remember it's like the symptoms and stuff snuck up on me because apparently I took something harder than I realized I did because I always said I'm strong. I'm a strong person. I can take anything. Right. But it literally, I remember it starting. I would wake up and try to get ready to go to work, and I was in the military, and my heart would race, and I couldn't breathe, and I would start sweating, and like I would just overwhelming fear, like terror, like danger, and I was like, what is wrong with me? I thought I was going crazy and dying and heart attack all in one, and I would just lay down back in my bed and go to sleep because I was so afraid of that feeling. And then later come to find out that was a panic attack. And how I found out was because friends of mine, because like I said, I was literally AWOL for 2 weeks, laying in my bed. I would not get out of my bed. And I had a friend come and take me to the emergency room because she had gone through something similar. So she knew the red flags. And that's when they started talking to me and asking me, like, what were my experiences? I remember the therapist saying, have you ever had a panic attack? And I'm like, what is that? And they were like, you feel like you're going crazy. You can't breathe. Your heart's racing. I'm like, that's what that is? And that's how I started to understand the diagnosis and what the symptoms were.
Right.
So it's like Stacy said, if you don't know, talk to a therapist. Talk to somebody, and then from there they can tell you what's going on. And I know earlier, Henry, you were talking about meds, and trust me, I've always been a holistic person. Medicine has always been a last resort for me. But I will say, for me, I am taking meds now. I've been taking meds for 2.5, 3 years now, and they do help. And I know that I've had a point where I thought, oh, I'm good now. I don't need to take my medicine anymore.
Right.
And then I'd go off of it, and then all of a sudden I'm like ready to cry for no reason, or my heart's racing. I'm like, okay, this medicine is working. So sometimes that medicine helps you get out of that hole. So be open-minded. Like I said, I don't knock therapy. Be open-minded. Talk to someone. Do not suffer alone, and you're not the only one out there.
Yeah. And Pamela that just blogged in. Is this? And Pamela, first of all, you know, we're sorry for your loss. She found her mother dead. So, that can create some serious PTSD there. And she said she tried to revive her and could not revive her. So, wow. So what would you tell, Stacy, what would you tell someone like Pamela with that particular issue?
Oh, wow. What would I tell someone? I have many clients that have experienced traumatic. I can't say, you can't compare trauma to trauma, but something like that, write about it.
Ooh, yep.
Write about it. That, a non-clinical answer that I can give, because I'm not a therapist.
Roger
I'm a certified life coach, but I would say write about it.
Right.
You write about it, you pray about it. You write about it, you pray about it, and eventually, God will give you peace. But that's a big one. That's something that probably calls bipolarness. That's a trauma.
Yeah,
that's a real trauma, and it has, that's not something you can even put a name, title, excuse, answer, research on. That's a trauma, and yes, that can definitely cause PTSD. And if you're asking for my professional opinion, write about it.
Wow, that's
write about it.
That's great. She says, thank you. That's great advice. Great advice. Look, we're going to take a break here, but when we come back, I want you guys hang on the line with me, because we're going to have some more write-ins and blog-ins that are going to have more questions. But I want you guys to think about what are some coping mechanisms that we can do, those with PTSD and those that haven't really been diagnosed with PTSD. What are some coping mechanisms that they can do? So think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Peace Within Radio Show. Welcome back to the Peace Within Radio Show. Look, check it. Tonight we're talking about understanding PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We have two phenomenal individuals on the line. They're certified life coaches, and we're talking about coping mechanisms, Stacy and Airial. So what are some of those coping mechanisms?
Well, one of the things that I've seen people do and that I've done is what's called a grounding technique. Mm-hmm. So when you start to feel yourself get anxious or whatnot, just think to yourself, look around and pause, kind of do like a pause, and list 5 things, say to yourself 5 things that you see. Mm-hmm. And then 4 things that you can touch or that you feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So it brings you back to reality. It kind of distracts you from that anxiety, because you're concentrating on things that you see, the things that you currently feel like, if it's your leg on the chair or your foot on the ground or the sock around your foot or whatever. And whatever you taste, you start thinking of those things, and that can help calm you down.
Right. Wow.
If you see somebody having a panic attack, or anxiety attack, or whatever, do not tell them to calm down.
Right.
I think I know that's a trigger for me. Yeah. Tell me to calm down. And I'm like, well, if I could calm down, I wouldn't be going through this.
Right.
So,
right. Wow.
And just understand that when that person goes through that, they feel like they're in imminent danger.
Absolutely.
Or it's something that's going on that's a trigger, and you may not be able to understand it. Right. It may be a fly on the wall, and it could freak me out. And you're like, well, what's going on? That's nothing. Do not ever say it's stupid. Ooh. Because you never know what that person's going through or how it has triggered a traumatic event in their life.
And don't even say you're crazy. Don't do that one either.
No.
No. Whoa, Stacy, what's on your list? Stacy, you still there? Stacy done hung up on us.
Did she leave?
Yeah, she probably left. Stacy
probably don't fuss at me.
She had to go and get something to eat, She was talking about some chicken. I heard her in the background talking about some chicken, some fried chicken. Yeah. Cornbread, fried chicken. It's all good. It's all good, Stacy. We know you jetted to eat something. No, we hungry, and you jetted to eat something. That's all good. That's all good. But Stacy, we appreciate you for calling in, and don't hesitate to give us a call right here on the Peace Within Radio Show anytime on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Give us a call 404-361-1571 anytime. But when we talk about coping mechanisms, you gave some phenomenal mechanisms and skills that people can deal with. But me personally, I would submit that you understand what it is. Understand what PTSD is. First of all, read on not just military PTSD, but also civilian PTSD. Understand what they all mean, and talk to someone. Have a support system. I have a support circle, and I'm able to talk to my circle at any day, any time. And that's what you have to have. You have to have someone that's on your team, good or bad. And practice, for me, I practice relaxation methods. I go to the spa. Yes, sir. I do go to the spa. I get a massage. I get a foot rub. I get a temple rub. I get my hands and my feet done. Yeah, sure do.
And, get your nails did.
Yeah, I get them nails did. Get them nails did and them toes did. Sure did. So, hold up. Is this Stacy? Did Stacy come back on? Okay. I thought that was just Stacy that jumped on. I'm about to get on her. But anyway, distract yourself, and be positive, have some positive activities. Mine, I work out, my youth, my book. I'm a, prostate cancer awareness coalition. I work in that. I do total life, changes, where I, take my vitamins and I ensure that my body is healthy. And I know what's going in my body. So, I keep myself busy. I focus on the things. I focus on my purpose. Let me just put it that way. I focus on my purpose that keeps me busy and keeps my mind moving and not idle. So you gotta have a good team for that as well, and a good doctor. Wow, that's a good counselor. Look, a good counselor will have you sitting on top of the world.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't for a good counselor, and I had a military counselor, and still have a military counselor, so but if it wasn't for the counselor in my life, I probably would have come across writing a book, but I wouldn't have done it. But my counselor encouraged me to write my book.
You had a real good counselor.
Yeah, encouraged me, and she would not let it go every counseling session. It was, how far are you with your book? It was every time, until about the fourth time I really got serious about writing the book. I had a journal already that my journal is the book. So
yeah, journaling is that's another technique.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely, I encourage that. So you have to find your niche for your coping mechanism. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And speaking of therapy, I know I got to a point in time finding a therapist that you click with, and it depends on the techniques they use, can make a huge difference.
Right.
That's actually why I got into coaching versus therapy, because I have other people who have experienced like an emotional hangover. Like I would dread going to therapy. I got to a point where I would dread going to therapy because I would have an anxiety attack and be done for the rest of the day. Because all those feelings would come back up. It was like scratching a scab.
Right.
And then when I talked to my first coach, they had a point of view of, okay, this is where you are today. These are your strengths. Yeah. These are your goals. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
And that helped give me move forward. The therapy helped me figure out what was going on in the diagnosis, to put a name to it, a face to it, so I can figure out, how to treat it, the medicine and everything.
Yeah.
But the coaching helped me move forward.
Absolutely. So do me a favor, Airial, please give the information out again on how to make contact with you and your organization.
My organization is the Veteran Woman LLC. You can Google it and it'll come up. You can find me on Instagram at the Veteran Woman. You can find me on Facebook. If you find me on Facebook, you can find me anywhere else, and that's www.facebook.com/AIRIALW. That's facebook.com/AIRIALW. And you can find all my contact information there and everything that I have going on.
Airial Dandridge, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we thank you so much. So very much for coming on tonight and, being open about what PTSD is all about and being open about your PTSD. We really do appreciate you for that and being a voice for women. You're welcome anytime here on the Peace Within Radio Show, WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. You're welcome to call in and express whatever. It doesn't matter what the subject may be. You are always welcome here. And we give you great applause for everything you're doing with the women, veteran women, and civilian women, to get to a point of understanding. Once we get to a point of understanding, we have a point of coping, and that's great.
Oh, yes. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for providing this platform where people get their voices heard, and that's a big thing.
Absolutely. Well, we love you, and we're going to call it a night. Take care and enjoy your Wednesday evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio, the Peace Within Radio Show. Have a good night. We love ya. Show you right.
You've been listening to the Veteran Woman Podcast. If you want to connect with Airial and let her know what you thought of today's show, be sure to head over to www.theveteranwoman.com and follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @The Veteran Woman.